YouTube? I'm back again today for another oh-so-delicious list, and today I'm very excited to be talking about my top 38 Tableau building games of all time. And you might be saying, what is a Tableau? Well, a Tableau is pretty much when you have your own little personal area of cards that you set down in front of you. Think of it like your little village or your factory or whatever the game may be. So in, what is it, that space game, which I'm drawing a blank. Wow. This is going off the rails fast here. The space game, Race for the Galaxy, you're going to have all your cards in front of you, so you'll have different planets that will do different things, and different, but it's going to be your own personal area, pretty much. And I really do like this mechanism, and once again, how I compile this is I go to BoardGameGeek.com, the best board game website on the planet, and I looked exclusively at every single Tableau building game that has ever been made, at least that they listed on there, and I marked the 38 that I played, and now we're going to talk about them. First, we're going to go with Gizmos. So Gizmos is a good game. I really do like Gizmos. When I first thought I played it, I thought it was great, and then I played it some more, I was like, no, this is good. It just feels like no other style game, but at the same time, it just feels just as generic as like a Splendor. So Gizmos essentially has this really weird popcorn, not popcorn, but gumball-looking machine, where you're going to have a whole bunch of marbles in there, and they're going to come out the mouth of it, and there's going to be like 4 or 5 marbles that'll come out, and you can take these marbles, and you don't know what marbles are going to come next, and the marbles are important because they're going to allow you to operate your machine, aka your gizmo, and that's where the name comes from, is essentially everyone's creating a machine in front of you, and you're just trying to make the most points with your machine, pretty much, and there's different ways to do that, and there's different aspects of the machine that happen and different cards that will come out. And I do like this game, and I keep this game, and I think I'm going to keep this game for a long time because I really, every time I play it, I'm like, dang, this is a really good game. It just, for whatever reason, it doesn't quite transcend to that Splendor level, to the, what's the other one? Century Spice Road level, where it's like, oh, I grab that all the time. For whatever, Gizmos does not set sort of attention, and that's why it's good and not great for me. Continuing on, we have San Juan. This one's a really interesting one. So if you've ever played San Juan, this is a card game version of Puerto Rico. And I have played it once in person. However, on my phone, I have played it quite literally hundreds, thousands of times, maybe. And if you play a lot of mobile games on your phone, you say, you're not scoffing, like Dominion. I have quite literally probably played 1,000 games of Dominion on my phone. That's ridiculous. But anywho, San Juan is a card game version of Puerto Rico, and it does a really good job of doing exactly that. And I think it's very good. At the end of the day, I still would rather play Puerto Rico. But honestly, San Juan is one of the best card game versions of a board game, in my personal opinion, despite the fact it's not even Puerto Rico, the card game, it's just San Juan. And I don't know why they chose to do that. I would love to, this was before I got into the hobby, I'd love to know the backstory of why they chose that path. But let's get out of the way. Yeah, Puerto Rico, let's just grab it. I'm slapping it in the grate. I love Puerto Rico. It was one of the first Euro games that really just wowed me. I know there's supposed to be like one broken strategy, where if you take a certain tile or you go for certain things, you're going to win 99% of the time or something like that. I don't really care. I don't know the strategy. And from what I understand, the expansion, which I do have, which adds more tiles, that's pretty much it, fixes that. So, but Puerto Rico I still think is a great game. I know it has hit a bit of a controversy as of late because they're the slaves. I mean, you don't think about it, but those little brown tokens they represent slaves that were what was it? They were doing the sugar, and I actually did a video on that at one point. And but that's the big thing, and I'm very curious to see how that goes in the future, because a lot of people forget Puerto Rico was the #1 rated game on Board Game Geek for years. Like now, it feels like it's popcorn, but Puerto Rico held that title for a very long time before board games really exploded. But still, a great game nonetheless. I enjoy it every single time I play it. Next we got Everdell. Everdell's a very rare game for me. Most of the time when I play a game, after the first time, I have a general opinion of whether or not I like it or I dislike it, and then I'll play it a couple more times, and most of the time I'm proven correct. You know, and if you played a lot of games, you kind of feel that way. It's like, all right, sometimes you can feel like I can watch a video and just know that that game is not going to be for me or that game is going to be for me. And Everdell, the first time I played it, it did not go well. I wasn't crazy about it. I wasn't hot about it. And they actually gave me a review copy of it. It took me years to finally make the review of it because sometimes when you get, this is bad, little behind the scenes stuff, sometimes when I get review copies, when I play that first game of it, and it's like, it's not as fun as you want it to be, and you're like, oh, I got to get it back to the table, and I got to subject a different group of people to the game. And that's honestly why I started doing the Thoughts from the Corner segment, because it's just like, hey, these are our quick hits, these are our initial thoughts of the game, and you get 3 different opinions. But Everdell bucked that trend because I probably played it 7, 8, 9, 10 times since then. I love Everdell. I want to get all the expansions for Everdell. I'm going to reach out to them afterwards and be like, hey, can I get one of those big boxes, do a review on that, do an unboxing? Because I think Everdell is a great game. And honestly, I would rather play Everdell than Puerto Rico any day of the week. And the reason why, and I think this is where Puerto Rico shows its age a little bit, is just Everdell has so many different possibilities, different ways to go, different things to do. The game just keeps expanding, and that's exciting. Whereas Puerto Rico, you know, here's the strategy. You know, there's 20 tiles. You got to pick one of those 20 tiles. You know, you get what I'm saying. It's an interesting thing. I would love to see a big expansion for Puerto Rico. I would absolutely adore that. Like, if the designer of Puerto Rico was like, all right, here you go. We're doing a Kickstarter. It's going to be $112. It adds solo mode. It adds this. It adds that. I want that. Oh, my gosh. I want to start a game company where literally I reach out to these people who had, like these great one-hit game. Well, I don't know if they're one-hit wonder, but great games they're dead for all intents and purposes. They're not getting expansions anytime soon. And just say, do it. Let's do it. That would be cool. I want to see that company. What games would you want? Like, what game would be your game that for right now is dead? And maybe it's been dead for a long time, but like if they were going to put out a big expansion for it. Interesting. All right, Power Grid. Power Grid, Friedman Freeze. And my favorite Friedman Freeze game of all time, even though I will say Fayum is creeping up there. Fayum is his new one. He came up with 2 games last year. There was Fayum and Fiera Bend, or Finishing Time. They are both, yeah, I think they're both great games. Not very good games. I think they're both great games. I still think they're below Power Grid. I think Power Grid is his magnum opus. And Power Grid is one of my favorite games of all time. And I will say I'm going to put it above Everdell because I haven't delved into the expansion content in Everdell yet. I think Everdell could eventually usurp Power Grid as I play more and more and see all the different quirks. But for now, Power Grid, number one of my all-time for now. I don't think it's going to stay up there, but just an amazing, crunchy math game. But here's the thing. If you don't like doing math in your head, dear God, you might not like Power Grid because it is all about mathing every single thing out. It's like you're buying power line connections, and it's all like, how much money do I have? I have $67, and this is going to be 1 plus the 14 plus the 22 plus the 8 plus the 9. But the thing that I really love about Power Grid as well is it has this really cool auction mechanism where you can kind of see what's going to be coming up, and I just love that. And they actually use that mechanism in Foyam as well, which I think is a great game as well, but not a tableau builder. It's weird, but when a game like Everdell or Suburbia gets a big box, fits everything option, I always get it, but then play it less because it's pain to dig it all out. You know what? I can see that. I mean, you see that gigantic box, and it's like, that's a lot of effort to set up. Even if it's not, yeah, I can see that. That's interesting. I'd love to hear what other people have to say about that. Ooh, Seven Wonders Duel, number 1. This is my early favorite for right now. Seven Wonders Duel, I do believe, is my favorite 2-player game of all time that takes less than an hour. Mage Wars is still my favorite 2-player game of all time. But Seven Wonders Duel is they took Seven Wonders Soul and they ripped it out and then they shoved it into this 2-player game all about where you're deciding what you want to draft, and it has really cool mechanisms in it. And I don't know if Antoine Bauza designed both of them. I think he did. But they just absolutely crushed it. Yep, Antoine Bauza. And him and Jonathan Gilmour, I think, are my 2 favorite game designers of all time, even though I do like a lot of them. Friedman Freeze, you know what? He might be creeping up there as well. But Seven Wonders Duel for my money. If you have not played it and you enjoy 2-player games, get on that. It is so good. I played the first expansion, also recommend that one. Have not tried the second. Innovation. Innovation. A lot of strong feelings on innovation for a lot of people. That's not me as one of them. Unforgettable good. I have played this 2 or 3 times. I enjoyed it. I think my buddy Jimmy actually brought it over. And I played it since then, and it's all card driven. So I don't remember anything about it. I remember it was in a smaller box. I don't remember anything at all about innovation. Not a dang thing. So there you go. But I remember it was very good. Not just good, This was forgettable, very good. There's not a category. Should there be a forgettable, very good category? I think there should. I think that needs to be delineated. I think forgettable, very good. I don't know. All right, Elysium. This one, once again, I hate to say this, it's in the forgettable, very good, and it's near the top. But let me think about it. So Elysium is a really stinking unique game from, I believe it's Space Cowboys, where you have these four, like, wooden, you know what? You essentially have heaven up here, and then you have hell, and your cards go from the top, then they go to the bottom, and when they go from the top to the bottom, they do all sorts of crazy things, and they can trigger all sorts of stuff, and this is, honestly, this is a game that I do own. I love it. It was a gift. I was so happy to get it, but it's one of those ones that I know every time I have to go back to the game, I'm going to have to get back into the rule booklet, and it's just sat there for years and not got played. But dang it, it is a very good game. Seven Wonders Duels rocks. I still need to try the recently released official solo mode. Whoa, did not know that was a thing. Innovation is best when you know all of the 110 cards. Yeah, that was it. It all had unique stuff, unique cards. All right, here we go. Feast for Odin. Oh my goodness, it's so great. It is just so dang great. So Feast for Odin is the Uwe Rosenberg one. And Uwe Rosenberg is the one where essentially you have a million choices. It's just like you can do this, you can go get in a boat, or you can create this, or you can go crafting, or you can go exploring, or you can go caving, or you can do blah, blah, blah. I'm not exaggerating. If you've not seen the board, go check out the board for Feast for Odin. It's like this long, and it's just like, where do you want to place your workers? It is absolutely delightful. I love exploring all the different paths and trying all the different things, and there's just cards in the game that make it feel like it's going to be different every single time. There's a big box expansion that I want to get into eventually. Feast for Odin. Great game. And, yeah, I'm going to put it right there. I think it's a little bit ahead of me, ahead of Seven Wonders Duel, and I actually just played Feast for Odin recently, and it wowed me. It always wows me. All right, what do we got next? We have, why can't my mouse work? Alismatic Heroes. I think that's the name of this game. This is a very, very good game from Japanime Games, which I know, shocker, those are words that you normally hear. I'm not saying that in a mean way, it's just, that's not generally the buzz you hear about Japanime Games. And it came in a weird box. I remember that. It was like this thin. It was like a big square, and it didn't feel like a normal board game box material. And I think it was area control, but it was absolutely great. I have the Norwegian expansion for the game that we talked about, A Feast for Odin. Still haven't got it to the table yet. Yeah, I can't, like, adding more choices in that game. But Alismatic Heroes, I remember, was very, very good. It wasn't the theme for me. And it was, yeah, it's right there. I don't remember anything about that game. I'm pretty sure I ended up giving it away to somebody who I knew really liked it. Either that or it's somewhere on these shelves. But it's a great, really good game. And I'd like to revisit it, but I don't remember anything about it. Scythe, I do. Scythe. Big dog. Where am I putting this? I'm going to put it in great. Now, where it goes in great, I need to really think about this. And with Scythe is one of those ones where I always talk about how, say, for instance, Everdell. I could see Everdell climbing all the way to the top. Maybe not ahead of Feast for Odin, but I could see Everdell climbing very high on here as I play more of the expansions and see more of the content and say, oh my gosh, this is genius. And the way that they just keep adding more things makes the game better. Scythe has a little bit of an unfair advantage because I've had up until at least recently, I had a very good review relationship with Stonemaier Games. And I reviewed everything for Scythe, I do believe. I've reviewed both the expansions and the Legacy, the big board, and so I've gotten a chance to play everything on it, and it's just so great. And every time I play it, I love it. And I will say, The Rise of Fenris is spectacular. If you ever see that, and you're thinking about it, and you want to go through it, it adds some really cool stuff, and the story's great as well. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it adds some absolutely amazing-looking minis that you never get to see because they're kind of spoilerish. But and a cool story to boot. I'm gonna put it right. Ooh, it's a tough one. I'm gonna put it right there. Seven Wonders Duel gets the respect. It's still one of my best two-player games of all time. I like Truffle Shuffle from AEG Games. Very much like Seven Wonders Duel. I have not heard of that. That is now on my radar. Truffle Shuffle. Citadels! I know it's a thing that Eric Summerer does. This is a game where you have the cards that you play, and each numbered cards, and each number has its own unique thing that it does. It's coming back to me. Citadel. I own Citadels. Citadels is a game that never wowed me. I remember I got really excited when I got Citadels, because when I first got into the hobby, I was a big fan of Dice Tower. Said everyone, pretty much. But Eric Summer used to just love the Citadel. It used to be a big thing with Citadels, and so I got it. I was so excited, and I played it twice, and I was like, I don't know. It just didn't wow me. I've since played it. I think, this is a good game. But forgettable good? No, I guess I get it. I remember enough. Nah, it's forgettable good. I'll put it right down here. I'd rather go back and revisit it. No, we'll go back and revisit Innovation first. All right. What do we got next? Oh my gosh. Yes, Nerdy Inventions from Mayday Games. This game was boring. Like, very boring. And boring, you can't be boring. I feel like boring is bad. Is boring bad? Yeah, boring's bad. I remember it was a generic theme, and you had to make inventions. I don't remember much else about it. It was, no, you know what? It wasn't bad. It was in the okay category. It was a firmly okay game. Nothing that I would ever recommend to anyone ever. And that's such a weird thing in our hobby. Like, we have so many games that are like that, where it's like, yeah, the game was okay. I'm cool if we never speak of that game for the next 85 years, And that's not a bad game, because we played bad games. But, I don't know. It's just so weird. So many games. Oh, are we going there? We going there yet? We'll save Terraforming Mars for later. London. This one. Very mean game. This one is Martin Wallace. Via Offspray Games. I remember it has gorgeous artwork. I remember it had a really dark, gritty theme. Like, I remember the theme would come across in some of the cards. It'd be like, whoa, damn, Martin. Like, okay. Like, I personally love that. I love when you can really immerse me in history in the games. But I remember that. I remember it was a very unforgiving game as well. But to save my life, I can't remember what the heck I was doing in that game. So, unfortunately, forgettable good right here. But I would much rather... I'm going to go back and revisit you before I revisit Alismanic Heroes. But like I said, honestly, any of these three games right here, very good games. Like, very solid. I need a forgettable very good. I have decided... Shut your mouth, Google. What? What are you talking about? Sorry, my Google just started ghosting me or something. Okay, continuing on. Seven Wonders. So, Seven Wonders, I know Seven Wonders gets a bad rap, and I swear, every time I mention Seven Wonders around a group of gamers, it never fails. Somebody badmouths it. Every single damn time. Always. Like, hey, try it. Just go, next time you go to a game group, just bring up Seven Wonders. Somebody's going to talk some trash. It's going to happen. And I think it's just because we've all played it so much, maybe. I don't know. I still love Seven Wonders. And I think it's a great game. And I think it's a great Gateway Plus game. It's not the Ticket to Ride for me, but it's the small world. I always use that analogy. Where it's just that step above it. And I think it's great. And I've only played one of the expansions. I would love to explore it more. If I had my choice, would I... Yeah, this is how much I like it. Seven Wonders right there. Boom. Antoine Bauza. Crushing it. Crushing it. Also got a chance to interview him. Seemed like a really nice dude as well. Agricola. Uwe Rosenberg. Number 2. This one's hard for me. And I think a lot of people know exactly why it's hard. It's because you played Agricola, and you thought, man, that's a great game. And then you played Caverna, and you said, well, I feel like it's just a better game. And it Truffle Shuffle Draft is the same, but you're basically... Oh, so we're talking about Truffle Shuffle. I like it. I like the inner cross-weave and talking. I gotta go with very good. Well, here's the thing. Does Caverna being so great diminish Agricola? That's the question. No. No, it doesn't. And it shouldn't. Because if I go and play Agricola, it's still going to be a great game. Period. I might yearn for more from Caverna, but it doesn't take away from Agricola. So, I'll put it right down here, and I would actually like Agricola a little bit better than Puerto Rico. Alright. What do we got? Eminent Domain. Eminent Domain, I tell you what. I think Eminent Domain is a very well-designed game, and every time I play Eminent Domain, I want to like it better than I do. So I gotta go forgettable good on this one. And I actually feel bad about this one because when I had a promotion with Tasty Minstrel Games. They would send me like just tons and tons of games. And they would even send me like the older stuff and say, you ever get around to it, review it, whatever. And I have literally everything for Eminent Domain. I have every expansion. Some of them are beat up because, you know, so they send me the beat up stuff, which is whatever. Who cares? I mean, they're all going to go into the Eminent Domain box. And I want to love Eminent Domain because I know if I loved Eminent Domain, I would love exploring all these different experiences. There's a solo one, I'm pretty sure, and it gets me excited. But every time I read the rules, I'm like, it's just not the type of deck building that's for me. And Eminent Domain is a very good game. And I think a lot of people put it in the great category, but just it never really landed with me. And continuing on with the theme of never really landing with me, you can scream until you're blue in the face, and everybody does. Roll for the Galaxy is a better version of Race for the Galaxy, but for my money, I'd still rather play Race for the Galaxy. Spoiler, it's going to be higher. But I do like Roll for the Galaxy. I still think it's a very good game. And I remember enough about Roll for the Galaxy. You're going to be getting different dice, rolling those dice, setting those dice to different things to try and, mine your planets and collect money and collect victory points and build things. And it's a very good game. And I understand why people love it. It's got a boatload of expansions. And, yeah, I think I like it better than all those games right there. So it's not just me. Cool. Very much prefer Race for the Galaxy as well. Alright. Fantastic Factories. I got a chance to play this one twice. Actually, pretty recently. And it's slowly fading from my brain, which tells me that it probably is going to end up in the forgettable good. But I can tell you about it now. It's pretty much convert X to Y to get to B. This is a game all about creating a little factory and then trying to convert. And it had workers. And I believe it's, you know what? I don't remember. We're going forgettable good. I did like it, though. I would like to play with the expansions for it, but at this weight, I remember thinking to myself, I would rather play a lot of other games. In that, because I'm going to guess Fantastic Factories is about the 30 to 45 minute range, somewhere in there. And yeah, I thought to myself, for a lot of the stuff I want to look up, why don't I just look it up on BoardGameGeek.com, the greatest board game website of all time? Yeah, 45 to 60 minutes. Okay, so it's about in that time period. There's a lot of other games I would rather play than Fantastic Factories, but it was still good. Still good. All right. Paper Tales. Paper Tales is paper bag. I got it over here. Paper Tales. Yeah, it's right back there. This one, I think is good. It's a drafting game. It's got some interesting aspect where you can draft people and they're eventually going to die. And you go over I think it's 4 ages. And the drafting is simple and everything works really well. If I recall correctly, it had really good iconography. And my buddy Josiah, who comes to my game night, really loves this game. And I've played it 3 times now and I'm like, yeah, it's good. It's just not for me. It's not for me. But I can recognize it's good. I'd rather play San Juan. So it's right there. Paper Tales. And he said that the expansion, which he's going to bring over sometime, really does make it better, like it a good deal. So, this could potentially rise as well. Because I did like the underlying system. I like the simplicity of the game. And it's definitely one to check out, even though I do remember the box being really larger than it needed to be. And I'm noticing something right now, which is I really enjoy Tableau Building Games, apparently, because look at there. Nothing in the forgettable bad or the bad, just that one meh. Let's look. All right, the Bloody Inn. Bloody Inn, I have played this 3 or 4 times. My buddy Alan, who comes to my game night, has this, and he really, really enjoys this game. And it's an interesting theme. So essentially, there's a Bloody Inn, and it's people are getting murdered in this hotel, and it has really cool artwork, and there's different cards that do things. Some will kill people, and some will I don't remember anything about it. I remember it had a cool little thing where when you set it up, it actually looked like you were walking down a hotel room where there were doors to the sides. But I played this 3 or 4 times, and I don't remember that much about it. I think it's good. It just wasn't the game for me. It was not a game for me. It's more in that Eminent Domain type of thing. Right around there. All right. I'm going to do it. Space Base. Space Base has been my most recent obsession. I will tell you right now, if I could have any board game in the world right now, I might take Space Base, which is ridiculous because there's out-of-print games. but I just, I probably played it 10, 15 times in the last 2 months. We played through the expansion, which had like the what was it, the chapter sort of stuff, but then you could still just throw in the cards. I liked that. I thought it was very good. But this base game, it's just out of the box. It's just an excellent game. It's so simple. I just actually taught it to my 8-year-old Sean yesterday for the first time, and he won, and he really enjoyed it, which means Christmas present, maybe. But Space Base is really simple. So essentially, you're going to start out with a board at numbers 1 through 12, and if you roll the dice on your turn and you look at the numbers down there, so let's say you roll the 3 and a 4, you can either collect goodies on your 3 and 4 spot, or you can collect goodies on your 7 spot, but then you can collect money and then buy more cards, and the cards do all sorts of crazy things, like give you victory points and, hurt other people in some instances and move things up, and it's just such a spectacular game, and it's right there for me. Yep. That's how much I love Space Base. It's kind of ridiculous at the moment. Space Base obliterates Machikoro. I agree. I really do agree. It's just... And the thing that I love about Space Base is it's just I love how you have to kind of adjust your strategy on the fly, and no matter what, it's fun. Like, it's like sometimes it's like, all right, I'm going to load up my 12 row. Because the other cool thing about this is you roll the dice and you collect things on your turn. But if you buy a bunch of cards, and then what happens when you buy a card is the card that was on your board gets flipped over, and then it's on the other side. So then if someone else were to roll a 4, I would get something. So what I did was I focused heavy on 12, and it's never worked for me, and it worked for me 2 times in a row. And then one time it was like, oh, the 1s work well, and it's just the different strategies the game presents are just so much fun. But now let's talk about Race for the Galaxy, which is another game where the different strategies presented to you just add to the fun, and I think it's a great game. This is a very pure tableau builder where it's just pretty much you're putting cards down in front of you, and when you do, you're starting to gain different factories and different planets that are going to produce, different types of thing, which then you have to mine that stuff, and then you can convert that stuff, and it's an engine builder, and it's one of my favorite engine builders of all time. Have I won via the instant win card? I actually did. That was the 12 that I won on. That was one of the 12s that I won on, was the instant win card. I had another card that would let me put charges elsewhere, and so I had that engine going. Oh, I love Space Base. What was I talking about? I totally just lost my train of thought. But, yeah, Space Base is great. Let's keep going. Splendor. Splendor is a game that I know... Splendor, I think, is another one. Kind of like in the Seven Wonders, where people have just played it so much, where if you mention Splendor, there's going to be someone who probably doesn't like Splendor. But I love it. I think it's a great game. I think the expansion is great, even though it was not the expansion I wanted. So if you don't know about the expansion, it adds 4 different modules, which makes the gameplay differently. And all 4 of the modules are fun. I enjoy all 4 of the modules, and quite frankly, every time I play Splendor, it's like, just throw one on there. I think it makes the game better. But I wanted something where it was it was always in there, where it's like, oh, we just add cards to the game and then we forget about them forever. But still a great game. The expansion bumps it up a little bit higher for me. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to put it right... Oh, wow. Look at me. Look at my basicness. Oh, my gosh, it's so basic. Stop it. Stop it. Don't do it. Don't. No, I'm not going to do it. Seven Wonders Duel is still better. But I love Splendor. I love Splendor. You were on Race for the Galaxy. Oh my gosh, no, sorry, Race. So I love Race for the Galaxy, though. But it's pure tableau building. And what makes it fun is there's just so many different cards in the game, and the expansion just adds different cards, and you can kind of make the engine that you want to, and it's a delightfully fun game that I never get tired of. And I also really enjoy it solo as well. I will put it right... No, not there. I'm going to put it right there because the solo variant. If Seven Wonders Duel does have an official solo variant. Oh my gosh, someone just mentioned in the chat. I got to try it now. I got to try that because I don't know. That's a close one for me. Seven Wonders Duel versus Race for the Galaxy. I love them both. All right, next we got Lois and Clark, which, man, is a game I would love to slap in the great category, and I'm going to talk about it, I'm going to think about it. So Lois and Clark was a game I got as a gift, so there's no pressure to review it, and I remember what I loved about this was it really dipped you into the historical theme. Every single card in the game made sense thematically, if I recall correctly, and had a little bit of information in the back about who they were. And essentially, it's just you going on the Lois and Clark trail and trying to race on it. And it has such cool mechanisms that I don't remember. I remember it was like worker placement, and there were Native Americans, and the Native Americans would collect in this big pool. And oh man, I need a forgettable very good. I've decided the Tableau Building Games have pushed my hand. They pushed my hand. Look at this. There's nothing. I've liked every one. Apparently, Tableau Building Games are my favorite games of all time. Through the Ages. So, this one, full disclaimer. I don't believe I've played this one in real life. Maybe once. But I played the app a lot. And the app is it's great. It's great. But I can't put it in great. I can't in good conscience put it in great just because I'm ranking board games right now, and maybe the setup is obnoxious, maybe the rule booklet's obnoxious, maybe these other factors are obnoxious, and so I do got to ding it down for that to good. So I'm going to put it there at the very top, good. But Through the Ages really does a great job of kind of stimulating you going through the ages and making the choices. And wow, I need to go replay this app because we're the top forgettable good. Don't remember. Oh my gosh. I need to start taking vitamins for memory. Terraforming Mars. Oh, I remember you. I remember you, beautiful. Terraforming Mars is one of my favorite games of all time. Every time I play it, I feel like I enjoy it a little bit more. I don't care if the game stretches out 3 hours. And it's all, for me, about the card play. I don't care about the board. I don't care about cities. I don't care about greeneries. I don't care about any of that crap. And that's why I'm very excited for the Terraforming Mars card game. Because, wow. Because, yeah, I love the different card combinations, and I love, the drafting of the cards, and it's like, oh, you get this hand of cards, it's like, oh, which ones am I going to keep? And it's like, oh, this one's going to be great, but it's not going to be great for like 5 turns. Do I want to invest the $3 now, or do I want to hold on to those $3 because those $3 could be really good and going to help me bump up the extra energy? And I love those sort of little micro choices. Terraforming Mars just gives you just all these literally hundreds of micro choices. Like, what do I want to do? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? And I love that. I love it. It's just choices upon choices upon choices. And I think it is one of the best games ever designed. I have one expansion, which adds the other board. And I can't wait to play with more of the expansions which add cards. And for my money, if someone said, you want to play Feast for Odin, Terraforming Mars, I'm playing Terraforming Mars. Especially if you have the expansions. Yep, there we go. Space, though. Purified air there. Viceroy. This used to be in the great category for me. I really did enjoy Viceroy, and it's a really cool tableau builder in the aspect of you're building like this little pyramid almost in front of you, and you're going to be playing out these different cards, and it's point-sality in the aspect of there's just so many different ways to score points. There's a really cool auction mechanism in this, and it just never gets played for me. It really... I did the Kickstarter video for the expansion, and I played it. I was like, dang, I remember why I love this. I don't think they ever sent me that to me. But it's just... It's one of those games that I know if I get it out, I'm going to have to go back to the rule booklet, and I don't want to do it. So it sits there, being a very good to great game, but I think for me personally, that bumps it down to the top of very good. And honestly, I'd rather go here. Yeah, I'm going to go right there. All right. Castles of Burgundy. This is Feld, I want to say? Or no, this is Feld or Uwe. I think this is Feld. I actually just played the Castles of Burgundy roll and write game, oddly enough, this week, which I thought was good. It actually does feel a lot like Castle of Burgundy. Once again, I'm cool if I never play that roll and write ever again. But still, I enjoy it. Castles of Burgundy is a game where you are going to be building your castle in front of you, and you have to put the pieces out, and there's all sorts of different rules and restrictions that you have to follow. So it's almost like a puzzly style game, and just every time I play it, I just bask in how well designed the game is. And anytime I play a game, when I do that, I just love that. I love that. Does it have as many different paths to explore and different things to do as like Race for the Galaxy? No. And it never will. It's kind of in that Puerto Rico category almost, but not nearly as much, I don't think. But still, a great game nonetheless. And right there. Look at me. Look at my Cult of the New here. Well, I guess Race for the Galaxy gives me some OG credit right there. But yeah, look at this. Puerto Rico, Agricola, Castle Burgundy. Oh, those are great, but they're like old great, you know. Flow of History. So this one, I remember, I did a Kickstarter video for this one, but it was like, it wasn't a Kickstarter version of the game. It was that they were just redoing this game. And I remember thinking that it was a very good game. It was a very good to great game about having little circular discs. A lot of little circular discs. Just circular discs for days, lots of cards, lots of discs. That's what I remember. That is the epitome of the good category, the forgettable good. But I do remember it was nowhere. I was probably around here. Oh, okay. Yeah. Looking at all these, I'd rather play every single game than Flow of History again. Because I did it, I played it, I reviewed it, and then I got rid of it. Which tells me a lot. Whereas Citadels, I didn't review Citadels, though. Alright. Alright, so I do take one thing back. I said that if I could have any game, I would take Space Base. I lied. I would take Bruges, however it's pronounced, with the expansion. This is my Grail game. I have played this 3 times. I have not played the expansion. Every time I play it, I say to myself, oh my gosh, once again, how well designed this game is. And I think Tableau Building Games are clearly the games for me. Like, you really got to screw the pooch, apparently, to even get in my mech category. But Bruges is delightful. And it's a point salad, and you're building a little village in front of you. And it's just, you can build the wall. There's just different ways to score. And for the love of me, I don't understand why this is not in print. Because I'm pretty sure this is not in print. It is just so goddamn great. And I love it more than all this. Which one would I rather play? Let's be honest. Which one would I rather play? Nope. And now this is where we get to a weird territory for me. Because would I rather play Bruges or would I rather play Race for the Galaxy? Here's the thing. I feel like Bruges gets a little bit more votes just because it's like, I can't play it because I don't own it. Nobody I know owns it, that sort of thing. So yeah, I guess I gotta, no, but go right there. I'll go right there. That's where I stop. Alright. Bruges got a reprint and update with Amsterdam. I think it got a reprint? Oh my gosh. Hamburg. Oh, Hamburg. I don't know what that is. Port Royale. I didn't realize that this was... So this one is a game that I really do want to get back to the table. It's a Press Your Luck style game. It was run out by Steve Jackson Games, but they actually released it in Europe and had a bunch of expansions for it, I guess, which were spectacular, but Steve Jackson's kind of let this one die, because it didn't sell. I'm not saying that anyway, because it probably didn't sell. But I don't remember anything about it. It's in that forgettable good category, and I see it up there. I know my son would love it. And I remember playing in my class, and it was great Press Your Luck, but I don't remember a dang thing about it. Right? Actually, is this top? This is top forgettable good for me. But that's a little bit cheating, because I want to play it with my son. But you know what? This is my list. Whatevs. Alright. Feld reskinned Bruges into Hamburg. Amsterdam is Macau. Oh, they changed it a bit more than I wanted. I just wanted a straight reprint. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder why they changed anything. And I wonder why they changed they redid Brugge. And took out a lot of the randomness people complained about. I could see that. Anytime you're dealing with cards, I could see that. I still thought it was an excellent game. It's a Wonderful World. Speaking of games that are better in Europe, this is a drafting game, and this is a drafting game that, I don't say this lightly, I think has the potential to usurp Seven Wonders for me, which, Seven Wonders is pretty dang high for me. But I don't remember anything about this game. You know what? I take that back. No hyperbole here. No superfluous adverbs here. Just real talk. I don't remember a damn thing about It's a Wonderful World. Nope. And I played It's a Wonderful World more recently than Seven Wonders. And it's good. I remember it being very, very good. I remember everyone I played it with enjoying it. I remember me enjoying it, but I also remember that they released just like the base game, but there's like a whole bunch of other stuff. And I remember thinking I wanted more from the game with It's a Wonderful World. And then after I did the review, I found out that in fact there was a ton of extra content for the game that they have since released, but I missed the emails to get the review content off. But yeah, It's a Wonderful World, forgettable good. Near the top though, because I remember it was really, really, really good game. Not Elysium good though. All right. Nations, once again, forgettable, very good, needs to have a spot. I played this twice now, and it really did recreate the feel of playing through a civilization. And you had different leaders, and the different leader powers were just absolutely monumental. And I remember absolutely loving every second of both times I played the game, but I don't remember much else past that. Now, to be fair, I don't own this game, which, factors into it, but there's plenty of games on here that I don't own. I don't own Feast for Odin, I don't own Bruges, and I can speak much more vividly about them than I can of this one, which means it just landed harder for me. And that's how I see it working in my brain. Yeah, Wonderful World with extras, amazing. Without them, pretty good. All right. I agree. Nations near the I would love to go back to revisit Nations in a heartbeat. Honestly, this was forgettable great, but I can't do that. Oh man. Okay. So let's be honest here. We got to talk about the Manhattan Project's Energy Empire and the Manhattan Project. I own both of them actually because the late James Matthew used to really support the channel. And he was just like, "Hey, you want these?" And he was like, "No pressure to review them or anything, just if you want them." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And they're great games. They're very good games. I don't want to say they're great games. I need to stop saying great, because great is special. These are very good games that I don't remember anything different about them at all. And I played them both a couple times. I actually did the expansion, I think, for a Kickstarter for one of them. And I don't remember. I remember the coolest thing about this was the worker placement they did was very unique in the aspect that ... I don't remember. Hopefully someone in chat can bail me out. I think maybe it was people. You had to wait for people to... Oh, wait. I think it was that people took their pieces off at different times, which meant that you were never quite sure what... Yeah, that was really stinking cool. That was it. You decide when to pull your workers back, so you never could be really sure when a spot was going to come open. And that was a lot of fun, if I recall correctly. And man, I want to get this one back to the table. So to near the top of the forgettable good with both of you. You can both go up there. And I also do like the theme as well. And I think this one... Did this one have a digital version of it, I want to say? Maybe I'm crazy. Well, I know that. Machikoro! Hey, what's up, Machikoro? Machikoro gets a really bad rep. A lot of people trash on Machikoro. I still think it's a good game. I mean, I think we're in an Agricola situation here where it's been usurped by other games. The difference is, when I first played Machikoro, I was in the very good category. I was not in the great category. Since I played it more, and since I've played other games that I feel do it much better, Space Base, mainly Space Base. I mean, there's other games that do it as well. I think it's in the good category for me. I'd still like to go revisit it. I'd like to play through the expansions. I'd like to try Machikoro Legacy. I really would. But I just don't see it rising. I could see it maybe rising to the great if it really mixed things up. But from what I've played, I think it's good. It's simple. I'm going to put it right there in the good. Last but not least, what is this one, Jimmy? I don't remember. Jimmy brought this one over, and it was very dang good. It was probably great. I don't remember. This is a Civilization game. It's a small box card game, Civilization game. And it came out just a couple years ago on Kickstarter. And check out our thoughts for the corner if you want to know more on my thoughts on it. I don't remember anything at all. But I do remember really enjoying it. So, forgettable good? Yeah, right there. And that is the first time I have not had any games in the bad or the forgettable bad and one in the mess. So Tableau Building Games apparently are my jam. So let me know in the comments below your favorite Tableau Building game that's a little bit under the radar. Because I know a lot of the big ones. I'd love to know more of these small ones. Like Truffle Shuffle was mentioned in that. Let me know your favorite under the radar Tableau Building game. And also, Give me more suggestions of any kind of list you would like to see. I am actively working on a lot of them. Oh my gosh. So I don't know what to do. So I'm working on the 2016 list. Because I was like, I'll do some random years. I think that'd just be interesting to see what games came out in random years. So I was like, just do 2016 randomly. The list is like 184 games of games that I played in 2016. It's absurd! And I don't know what to do. Like a rapid fire thing? Or do I just... let me know. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.